My name is Ruth Carter. I'm a licensed attorney in Arizona, and I'm also the owner of Carter Law Firm in Phoenix. And today, I want to talk about privacy. Now, the general rule is you have no expectation of privacy in anything that you do in public. So that means anything that you do, say, wear, wherever you go, if it's in plain view of the public, there's not a whole lot you can do to stop somebody from taking a picture, shooting a video with their camera or their phone, posting it online, repeating it to other people. There's not a whole lot you can do to stop them because you voluntarily did it public.
Demanding accountability and defending your rights against the police specifically, and the government generally, are difficult and dangerous tasks. Your right to watch the government and record what you see is a natural right that is protected by the Constitution, and it cannot be taken away by the government.
This video comes from the YouTube channel Tazz News Tacoma. I'm not going to play the whole video because it's 30 minutes long, and I'd rather you go watch the full video on his channel, and if you like his content, consider subbing. Links to his channel in this video, as well as all of my sources, are in the description below. This is Tazz News Tacoma conducting a First Amendment audit of the post office on 240th and Kent in Kent, Washington. The footage being played right now is while he was inside the post office. I never heard any of the employees ask him to leave, and he mentions he had visited this post office before and has filed a complaint about it. When he sees the Kent police officer arrive on the scene, he leaves the interior of the post office to go outside and greet them. I think leaving the inside of the post office was a good idea. I personally wouldn't want to be trapped in a building with these order followers coming in to threaten violence against me for not assisting them in their investigation to incriminate me when I didn't hurt anyone else, I haven't damaged anyone else's property, or defrauded anyone. In my mind, the only mistake he makes is when he goes outside, he approaches these violent members of the Blue Line gang. If it were me, I'd ask him to stop getting any closer to me once they get 10 to 15 feet away. This is a fairly safe distance, as it gives you time to back up if they decide to attack you, which, as you'll see, happens very soon. I would simply state as they approach, "For my safety, please stay back." I'd tell them I'm afraid, and for my safety, 10 to 15 feet is still close enough to have a conversation and makes me feel more protected from their threat of violence and intimidation tactics. I'm going to play the initial part of his contact with these Blue Line gang members that show up to intimidate and coerce him into giving up his freedom. Then I'm going to break down how these tyrants masquerading as heroes lie and then go hands-on, inflicting violence and torturing him with wrist constraints that cause massive discomfort in order to gain compliance from him or kidnap him and take him to a cage. Please hit the thumbs up and share this video with everyone you know. These tyrants need to be exposed. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do it now and leave me a comment letting me and the rest of the world know how you feel about these tyrants and their unjust use of force.
Okay, now the police are here. I'm gonna go outside and greet them. How's it going?
How's
How's it going, man?
All right. Gonna put that down, or am I gonna seize it as evidence?
What's that for?
For evidence?
No.
Because you're trespassing and you're actually photo and video recording
I can do
office.
what I do.
So you're now trespassing.
I can do what I'm doing.
Okay. So we can detain you in cuffs if you want to do that. Do you want to do that?
I'm going to show you the rules and regulations for the building.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have your ID with you?
What do I need ID?
Okay. Again, we can detain you for what I'm talking about.
Detain?
Okay. You're being
You can
trespassed on the
detain.
property.
I'm being trespassed. I was never
You know
told.
what? I'll tell you what. You go ahead.
All right. You gotta twist my arm.
Put your arms behind your back.
I have no problem with what you're doing.
Okay.
I don't know why you fucking twisted my arm.
Because you weren't doing what I asked you to do.
Because I'm doing a perfect fucking legally act here.
Are you recording other people?
I'm recording inside the post office like I'm.
And is that,
You don't
are you
need to bend my
agreeing
arm.
this is a two-party consent state?
No, it is not. No, it is not. No, it is not.
Okay. Did you get consent to actually video record inside a government office of people doing
If you look at the rules,
So are you recording people's...
are you gonna let me finish talking, or are you gonna just keep talking over me?
recording people's bank account numbers? Check numbers?
No,
Check
no, I
information?
don't do that.
Okay, what are you doing inside the post office?
All I do is I record the inside the post office. I do their rules and regulations. I just come and audit the post office. That's all I do.
All I can say is wow. It's unbelievable to me that we can have these order followers initiating violence on civilians like this and still have people thinking we are free in this country. I see this time after time. These order followers get it set in their mind what the situation is before they even conduct an investigation to find out what's really going on. Then, when they do finally start conducting their investigation, it's geared towards confirming their preconceived notions, not finding the truth. Of course, this usually results in money being extorted and possibly being thrown in a cage. Notice how as soon as Tazz News Tacoma greets order follower Crane, Crane answers his greeting and then immediately goes into his intimidation tactics and threats of violence to gain compliance from this free man, referring to his camera. "Are you going to put that down, or am I going to seize it as evidence?" Then this criminal just starts making up crimes. The proper trespass procedures were not followed, but he makes that threat anyways. This coward Crane can't use logic and ethics. His orders don't allow for that. So he makes up a crime of photo and video recording inside a government office. What statute or RCW might that be, Crane? Can you cite it? Now let's move on to the trespass issue. According to the Revised Code of Washington, RCW 9A.52.070 states, a person is guilty of criminal trespass if he or she knowingly enters or remains unlawfully in a building. And that's first-degree criminal trespass. And for second-degree criminal trespass, it's RCW 9A.52.080. And it states the same thing, except stipulates in or upon premises of another under circumstances not constituting criminal trespass in the first degree. Now, RCW 9A.52.090, the defenses to these crimes. It states, among other things, it's a defense that the premises at the time were open to members of the public and the actor complied with all lawful conditions imposed on access to or remaining in the premises. So unless order follower Crane here can cite a statute or RCW stating that his claim of taking photos or video in a government building is unlawful, then he should have been kicking rocks instead of harassing this free man, because everything Tazz News Tacoma did fits under this defense to a criminal trespass. Of course, as you heard, he doesn't cite any statutes, but instead uses the might equals right philosophy and makes the threat to torture Tazz by restricting his movement and restraining his wrists behind his back with tight metal cuffs, pressing and grinding against his skin. When this thug Crane's threats to intimidate and coerce Tazz to give up his freedom don't work, Crane initiates violence, twisting Tazz's arms up behind his back and putting him in restraints. Crane then justifies his actions, saying, "You weren't doing what I asked you to do." Next, we come to my favorite part. Crane is getting desperate to make this free man cooperate, so he starts bringing up another possible charge against Tazz to gain compliance. He states this is a two-party consent state. He's right. RCW 9.73.030 requires both parties to give consent to have a private conversation recorded. The key phrase here is private conversation. Anyone with half a brain knows there is no expectation of privacy in public. In 1993, the 9th District Court of the United States ruled that RCW 9.73.030 does not prohibit the videotaping or sound recording of conversations held in a public area where a third party can overhear the conversation. The court also said the gathering and dissemination of news from public sources is fully protected under the First Amendment. In short, it says the right to access and report on public events is not just reserved for established media, but to be enjoyed by all persons. And that if information is in fact public, a state can't punish its dissemination by categorizing it as private. So as long as you're in public and your recording device is visible, people in the area are given notice that they are possibly being recorded. And if they want their conversations in a public place to be considered private, they better whisper or speak in a manner that a third party can't overhear, according to the ruling. Tazz News Tacoma was released from the restraints and allowed to go free again after these state-funded gang members realized their statutes wouldn't back up their claims. That doesn't make this unethical and illogical behavior okay. These two cops tried to coerce Tazz into giving up his freedom by misleading, or some might even call it lying, about which and how many statutes he might have been breaking. Then, they initiated unjust force by twisting his arms behind his back and putting him in cuffs and removing his freedom to travel where he wanted. Guys, we need to wake up. This is not okay. If any one of us civilians of this militarized police state did this to another person, we would be arrested for assault. These Blue Line gang members feel emboldened by the sheeple and the ruling class to impose their will on us if we don't cooperate with their unethical or illogical behaviors. If you want to redress your government for this display of intimidation and coercion backed by the threat of more violence and torture, contact information for the post office and the Kent Police Department are in the description below. Don't forget to check out Tazz News Tacoma and show them your support. Speaking of support, if you like this channel and you want to support my work, consider grabbing some gear from the store or contributing in another way by visiting the links to all the platforms you can find questionable authority on. Thanks for checking out this video, and remember to always record the police. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the like button and share it with everyone you know. Find us on Twitter as well as censorship-free platforms like BitChute and Steemit or DTube. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to smile at someone you don't know every day.